On this Sunday morning in Inside Tennessee with the House Speaker Cameron Sexton of Crossville.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for being here. Don?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for being here. Back on education for a moment and the voucher proposal and the plan that Governor Lee is leaking forward as we speak. Are you concerned at all that this is really going to diminish, first of all, public schools?
No, I do not.
Why? Because every public school, most every school board, most every teacher, most every administrator says this is going to hurt us. So why do you think it's not going to hurt public schools?
Well, my answer is, did Amazon hurt the post office? Did FedEx hurt the post office?
It did.
Or did they make them improve? And so what you have right now is a status quo school system where if you're failing and your child is not performing, you have no means to go anywhere else. And so why not allow the parents to make that choice? What are we scared of? Why are the schools scared of allowing the parents to make the choice that's best for their child?
Well, I'm going to make some suggestions on things. What I've heard, I think the thought would be if we could put more training, more resources, more things into the public school system, more choices within a public school system where there still could be oversight. And that's the real big concern. When you look at these other states, not just our pilot program, but these other states that have implemented widespread voucher programs with no income caps for families, with whether the school is underperforming or overachieving, we're seeing, as John suggested earlier in the first block, that those kids, those students are not doing as well as those in the public schools. And some of those states and some of those programs, those students aren't starting behind, like you suggested, like we are doing. So I'm not sure I see the wisdom, and I see, look, I'm a criminal defense lawyer. This is going to be rife with fraud. The TBI and the state attorney general is going to have to create entire divisions to prosecute the criminality that's going to come out of this program. Mark my words, write that down. In 5 years, the courts are going to be packed with these cases.
Well, there's a lot to unpack from that statement.
I know.
Let me just say, first of all, I got other studies, over 20 studies, that show that what you said or what you have is not accurate. The other thing is, Florida, who has the most school choice of anybody, is the first nationally ranked schools in the country for that state. Florida is #1, not on per pupil spending, but on attainment. And they have school choice.
Well, they have fewer books to read, but that's another day, another story.
That's another story. But what I'm saying is, and they spend the same per pupil that Tennessee does. So it's not just about spending money in school system. If it was, Florida would not be #1. So the question is, why is Florida #1? Choice is part of it. But once again, you got to go back. Why are we afraid to allow the parents to make the best choice for their child? Why are we only okay with a wealthy person pulling their kid out of public school and sending them to a private school? We're all okay with that. But when we give the potential to the people who do not have the money to do that, to help their child that they feel like they should, we all recoil and say, oh no, you need to stay in that school system.
So would you always support an income cap on families being able to access voucher money? Because in some of these other states where there's no income cap, and I'll pick on my friend Susan, she's got grandkids that are probably going to go to private schools, and I know she's talked, I'd sure like that money too, when economically Susan probably doesn't need it. Or will you always support an income cap?
I'll support an income cap, but I also support not an income cap. I don't think that you should be limited
that's
based
a true politician answer.
No, it is. I mean, I'm going to vote for it if there's an income cap, but also I would vote for it if there was not an income cap. Because at the end of the day, it should not matter how much money you make. You have individuals who are working 2 jobs, individuals who maybe took a loan out on their house to afford, and you're going to tell a family who's working 2 jobs trying to get ahead that because they took that second job, they no longer qualify. And so I just have problems with that. We always want to go to the extremes and say it's a billionaire who's going to use that money to go to private school when we're looking at other individuals who aren't billionaires, but they get knocked out.
The other criticism we've heard is the accountability piece, which we were trying to get to in the first block, where you've been so righteous in Republicans saying we need the accountability, and this seems like it's letting accountability go.
Well, no, I think, so part of this plan is you have private schools that are accredited, so you're going to make sure that they're in an accreditation process. You also have states who said that they have to take a state assessment or a nationally recognized assessment, right? That's in other states as well. But let's think about this a little different. We hear from school systems all the time, oh, there's too much of this, and there's too much testing, and there's too much of this. Why do we treat school systems who are 70% proficient in 3rd grade reading the same as those who are 20% proficient? That's ridiculous. So let's look at it a little different. Let's look at the school systems and say, if you're performing, let's reduce those accountability measures. You're achieving success. If you're in business and you put your thumb on all your great employees, you're just going to run them somewhere else. Allow them to continue to grow. They have shown that they can be successful, and focus on the ones who are not.
Let me address one other a different way of looking at accountability, which is the whole issue of, there are a lot of people watching us right now who are thinking, oh, you're just going to write me a check for $7K or $8K and I can do whatever with it. So I'm curious as to fix that perception or misperception, if you would, and as the Speaker of the House, what sort of control or accountability do you think is appropriate for how that money gets spent?
Well, so it's the ESA program already has, which this is outside of, as we said, already has that mechanism in place. So in this, the money will go to tuition or to the school, so it doesn't ever flow to the family member. Also, if you look at it like a health savings account, when you get your health savings account card, you can't go buy gas with it. You can't go to the movies to buy a ticket.
You're not supposed to, anyway.
You can't. You take a
But
health
you can
savings
buy a
account.
lot of junk food.
Well,
And there's an analogy there.
Not with the health savings account card, you cannot. So if you take your health savings account, your insurance card, and try to put it in the gas pump, it will not take it. This system is designed the same way, which is it can only be used in certain situations. I would prefer in this, if we get to this bill, it has to go to tuition first, then books, then uniforms, and then other things, and you go down to what really is needed, and that's how you protect it.
We have to take a quick break. Crystal ball, do you think the House will pass something on school choice this session?
I think so, because I think we'll get to a good place where I hope that we get over 60 votes.
All right, we're going to take another quick break on Inside Tennessee. We're back with more right after this.